What's going on, 49er faithful, 49er fan, 49er gang? This is your boy Niner Gang Podcast, aka 49er Dion, back here in the building. So definitely hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, turn on them post notifications so I can keep you up to date on any and everything San Francisco 49ers. With that being said, let's get right on into it, people. So this show, as you can see by the name, is based on us versus the Arizona Cardinals. Now, I am a Los Angeles native, but I fell in love with my 49ers in 1985. And I have been a 49er fan since, but I do currently live and reside in Cardinal country. I live in Phoenix, Arizona, baby. So you see Cardinal fans everywhere. And do Cardinal fans have a reason to be happy right now? Yes, the hell they do. They are 4-0 atop the NFC West, a.k.a. the NFC Best, and they have no reason to keep their mouth shut for any reason this year. The only difference is we got 5 Lombardis and they have none. But they are hoping that will change. So I have a special guest tonight from the Locked In Cardinals podcast. Looks like my guy, Bo Brack. What's going on, brother? How you doing?
What's up, Dion? Thanks for having me on, man.
Hey, man, I'm always glad to have an opposing fan in the building. I like to get everybody's perspective on how things work, man. And at the same time, I see Cardinal fans on a daily basis. 9 times out of 10, they don't really talk too much football with me, but it's always good to have somebody on. When did your love for the Cardinals start?
Man, you know what? It's a team that I've been covering for over 10 years now. I was like you. I was a transplant to the Valley. I grew up on the East Coast in the Washington D.C. area, and then moved out for college, and got into the into sports media and covered this Cardinals team kind of at the tail end of their first good run, their first Super Bowl run. Kurt Warner, Ken Wisenhunt was the coach. And I was covering teams that had like Kevin Cobb and some real thin years, Dion. It's been a long, long ride all the way to this 4-0 start this season. There's actually a 4-0 start mixed in there, and then they went 1-11 after that. So I think this is a little bit different. I think this is a little bit deeper squad, a little bit more safer in the long run at the quarterback position. But yeah, I've been covering this team, following this team for over 10 years, and it's been a wild ride, but this is the most exciting it's ever been, no doubt about it.
Hey, man, that is awesome. That's awesome that you've been covering them for that long. So I'm a diehard Niner fan, man. I've been watching them, like I said, since 1985. First time I ever saw Joe Montana throw a touchdown pass to Jerry Rice, baby, the GOAT. Now the Cardinals have right now the best team, pretty much, probably I'd have to say in the league. I have to give it up to y'all. Have to give it up to you, man. It's y'all are pretty much the best team in the league right now. Kyler is rolling. You have no issues when it comes to your offensive game plan. Your defense looks good. But I must say, we got a surprise. And he's the number 3 pick, and he is coming your way. And I will be in the building. My ticket is booked. I'm there. I will be in the building. I will be in McFadden's with my fellow Niner faithful. And then we're going to shoot over to the Cardinals Stadium. We're going to have a good old time, man. So talk to me about this offense, man, because A.J. Green seems to have found himself again in Arizona. We all know who Diop is. Diop is to be respected. No one should ever not put respect on that man's name. The quarterback carousel he had in Houston, and him still putting up 1,000-yard seasons. And since he's been here, he has been an aberration. And Christian Kirk. So you've got Chase Edmonds. And you got James Conner back there. Then you got Kyler Murray running too. So, you guys are loaded. Talk to me, baby. Talk to me about this offense and how y'all are rolling.
It's an embarrassment of riches. And you've been sitting in the backyard of the Arizona Cardinals, and you've seen that Cliff Kingsbury. A lot of people have their reservations, very skeptical whether or not he belongs as a head coach, a failed college coach, 35-40 at Texas Tech. He was fired from his alma mater. I mean, that's it's not, a good recipe for a good head coach at the NFL level. But, it's been a slow build, and he's finally got the pieces in place on the offensive side. We know that Cliff came in with Kyler Murray, and he was the offensive rookie of the year. He set the world on fire last year, 37 total touchdowns, 11 those on the ground. And you knew about, as you mentioned, Nuke. I mean, DeAndre Hopkins, D-Hop is the man. And then outside of that, after last season, people were kind of scratching their heads like, okay, Fitz, all-timer, but, maybe he's at the end of the road there. Who's going to be a playmaker opposite DeAndre Hopkins? And Christian Kirk flashed a little bit, but there wasn't the consistency there. And they get A.J. Green. And A.J. Green, I think he does more than even in the box score. Like, he's this other opposite outside receiver, and guys like Christian Kirk and rookie Rondale Moore can just kind of be moved around and nuisances to opposing defenses. And then A.J. Green also is having this resurgence where he's making big plays for this team as well. So now all of a sudden, Kyler Murray has an embarrassment of riches. There's one football. You mentioned Chase Edmonds. You've got James Conner, who's transformed this red zone team. It's like, what are you going to do? Kyler Murray either can kind of bootleg out, or James Conner can dive in. And it's like, what are you going to prepare for as far as on the defensive side of the football? So they're just kind of firing on all cylinders. But like last week, how can the Arizona Cardinals avoid being the Los Angeles Rams that they beat last week? Because the Rams, man, they were just the talk of the NFL town right after they just thumped Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And then the Arizona Cardinals went and served him some humble pie. So the Arizona Cardinals in another position now where the Rams were last week. How can they avoid that? They're going up against the tough defense, a stout front seven, and then the unknown, that number 5 from North Dakota State, making his first start potentially since he faced Central Arkansas. Unlike how he's going from facing Central Arkansas to playing inside State Farm Stadium, potentially making his first start. I think I don't know. I don't know who you feel more comfortable with right now. I know the excitement. It's the excitement of the unknown with Trey Lance. But then does Jimmy G give you the best chance to win on Sunday? I know he's been not practicing with the calf, but I don't know. What are your thoughts?
Jimmy G don't give nobody the best chance to win and do nothing. Okay, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm a different Niner fan. Okay, yeah. I don't praise Kyle Shanahan. I don't kiss the ground that he walks on. All right, hold everybody accountable. So it doesn't matter who you are or what you do. If you screw up, you get held accountable in my book. And that doesn't negate Kyle Shanahan. At the end of the day here, this is the thing. If you look at the last 3 games, we scored 7 points in each of the first halves. Do you know that 1 out of those 3 games, the 7 points came from Trey Lance coming in the red zone and scoring? So Jimmy Garoppolo seems to just find this ineptitude in the first half of the game. Like, he doesn't know what's going on. In the last game versus Seattle, we held Seattle to 5 3-and-out in a row. We got nothing from Jimmy Garoppolo for it. Not a damn thing. So my situation is, randomly at halftime, you got a calf injury. You've been playing through it since the first quarter. Oh, magically it hurts. It's not enough for you to be able to go out. But when Debo scores a touchdown, you on the sideline jumping up and down. Don't look like your calf hurt to me. Look like you got benched. I'm sorry. And to me, Trey brings the dynamic of the offense same as Kyler Murray. The only difference is he's taller from a literal standpoint, physically taller. Mm-hmm. So what Trey brings you is deep throws down the field, throws outside the numbers. And once he continues to build a better rapport with the offensive stars, Debo, Ayuk, and Kittle, you will see more of the throws become, more comfortable for him. Because I know everybody was like, well, look what he did with George Kittle. Hey, man, that's pregame jitters. If you get told literally while you're running out of the tunnel, hey, by the way, you're running out of the tunnel to go onto the field, you're like, huh? Wait, what? Kyle should have had him better prepared. There should have been plays specifically run for him. But the other thing that Trey brings is our run game. Our outside zone is no joke. And if you have Trey Lance there, That makes your linebackers pause. Chandler Jones just can't run in and tackle Trey Sermon because he might not have the ball. And Elijah Mitchell because he might not have the ball. Trey might still have it. And he may either be running with it or he may be passing. So he brings a different dynamic into a different fold. And I don't think Jimmy gives us the best chance to win anymore. I just don't see him doing anything that gives us a reason to keep him on the field. And I see that Kyle has now started to recognize that and say, look, man, we got to go with the young kid because I can't have another losing season, because if he does, it may be time for us to start looking at Kyle and going, what are you not doing? What's wrong with you? Why are we not winning with you at the helm? Because everybody will give him a pass and they'll say, oh, well, he never had his quarterback. He didn't have this. He didn't have that. We could have had a quarterback the first year if Kyle wasn't in love with Kirk Cousins. But for that bromance that he had with Kirk Cousins, and he wanted him so bad and he never got him, they had to settle for Jimmy Garoppolo. Now, of course, you go, damn, Jimmy's here. Boom. Rips off 5 straight wins against playoff teams. So you're like, oh, okay, we might have found us a gem. Comes out in the third game trying to be a damn running back, spins around, tears his ACL, season's down to 2. Of course, you go to Super Bowl that next season, but then the next season, that was like the worst season of all. That last year was horrible. COVID just destroyed us. But yeah, man, that's what Trey Lance brings into the fold, man, and that offense becomes way more dynamic with him there.
I just think, in the comparison, I think is fair to Kyler Murray. Obviously, the athleticism bigger. He's a Mack truck out there, Trey Lance is. But I think more Josh Allen, and Josh Allen. It took a lot more as far as him finding that rhythm, that throwing rhythm, the accuracy that you need each and every play. Like, I'm not saying it's not going to happen. I just think it's very early. I just think that Trey Lance is going to have. You're going to see some growing pains. I mean, they had it with Kyler Murray, and Kyler Murray is a marksman. I mean, he can make all the throws in the book, and he could kind of do it early out of Oklahoma. The big knock was he came in with a very untalented roster, and it just took a little bit longer with the lumps that you had to take with Cliff Kingsbury, kind of learning his way at the NFL level. So it is going to be fascinating. I mean, I got to imagine if it's going to be Trey Lance and a heavy dose of running the football, it kind of makes you excited if you're a Cardinals fan, because it does take out the biggest weapon on the offense for the 49ers and Deebo Samuel. I mean, you don't want to take him out of the game plan. I mean, he's been so good this season. So that would be good for the Arizona Cardinals. I'm excited about the matchup potentially between Deebo and Byron Murphy, who's nursing a rib injury right now, hasn't practiced the last couple of days, but that's going to be a fun one because, Byron is in his 3rd season. He's got 3 picks through the first 4 weeks of the season. He's looking really good. I think that should be a fun popcorn matchup for everybody to tune in on.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you right now, man, if he's got a rib injury, Deebo is not the person that you want him on. That man runs like that is a full-grown man, and he runs like a running back. He is a bowling ball when he goes in, and he looking to hit you before you hit him. So I don't know if that rib injury is that serious. And if it is, Murphy better be real careful on how he tackles. Deebo might re-injure that with the way that he hits. And I'm not saying that to disrespect Byron Murphy. I just know my guy. And Deebo, he likes to hit, and he likes to hit hard. The other guy that has been pretty much a ghost is George Kittle. Mm-hmm. And I know a lot of people are going, man, I picked him up fantasy. He ain't been doing nothing for me. Yada, 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 this, that, and the third. Let me tell you something. Now that Trey Lance is in the game, look for Kittle to get a little bit. He's going to get a little more active. And the thing is teams have been doubling Kittle. Teams have been making sure, hey, he been not about to eat us up. Nope, not this game. And it's easy to do that because with Jimmy Garoppolo, it's either over the middle or in the flat. That's where he's going. He ain't going downfield. He ain't going outside the numbers. We all know the limitations. With Trey, you open the door for more. Now, is he going to have them growing pains? Of course. Is he going to throw interceptions? Of course. He's not going to come out and be perfect off the bat. Nobody was. Peyton Manning sure as hell wasn't. Drew Brees, Tom Brady, everybody takes their lumps. So do I expect him to make some rookie mistakes here and there? Yes. But I still see him as giving us a better chance to win than Jimmy. Now let's flip to the other side, to the defensive side of the ball. I have a question for you, and I want that answer before you dig all the way into the defense. Sure. Where the hell is Chandler Jones? Because 5 sacks in the first game, and he ain't had one since. What's going on with Chandler? I'm going to tell you, I fear Chandler Jones. I saw him impressed. That's the big human being. The only person I've ever met in my life bigger than Chandler Jones was Calais Campbell. That is a mountain of a man. Yeah, mountain of a man. And he looked at me. I had to. I'm short, man. I'm 5'6", so I look up at damn near everybody. But Campbell made me feel like a straight shrimp, man. I felt like Kevin Hart standing next to Shaq. I was like, why are you so long? And his wife is tiny. His wife was shorter. I'm like, what the hell is what? Yeah. But talk to me, man. What's going on with Chandler, man? What happened?
It was he had a coming out party. He had kind of, hey, I'm having this career contract year game, and it was game 1, and he had those 5 sacks against the Tennessee Titans, just dominated. He had the 2 strip sacks, and since then he's been pretty quiet. Yeah, but you know what? He's impacting the game outside of the box score, and so is J.J. Watt, and so is Marcus Golden. A lot of these players in the Arizona Cardinals have for so long lacked opportunistic, like, ball hawking corners, and those guys just getting the pressure on these quarterbacks like Trevor Lawrence, another rookie quarterback that they faced. They forced 2 turnovers from Lawrence, and it was just getting him rattled, making him make bad throws. And I'll take a pick over a sack, but yeah, it is kind of been interesting, the little slump that that defensive line, those linebackers have experienced. Hopefully they can get to the quarterback a couple times this week. I know the fan base would love to see it, but it doesn't kind of limit this defense what they're trying to do, and that's to force turnovers and just kind of. I think that they still help out the secondary that remains kind of unproven. But yeah, Chandler Jones, I'm sure he wants to get to the quarterback. It's just he's been facing a lot more double teams. Like, the defensive coordinator, Vance Joseph, did a masterful job in game 1 of getting him one-on-one matchups, and they haven't, offenses have gotten a little bit wiser, and they haven't given him those many opportunities. So a lot more double teams, a lot of help, tight ends coming in and chipping, running backs chipping as well. So Chandler Jones's job got a little bit tougher because he had such a great performance in week 1.
Okay. That's cool, man. And I can respect that. Whenever we play y'all, man, I'm going to tell you right now, old Buda Baker love him some George Kittle, baby. He likes to play George, man, and George likes to play Buddha. They go at it, man, and I like matchups like that. And I agree with you. I love a ball hawking type of defensive back. I don't need you knocking down passes. I say this wholeheartedly. I hated Darrelle Revis. I really did. I didn't like Darrelle Revis. You know why? Because he never picked the ball off.
That's Patrick Peterson too. Yeah. Patrick Peterson was like, oh, nobody threw my way, and they respect me so much. He's like, well, how that's nice that you can take away that side of the field, but it doesn't get the ball into your offense's hands. That's what I'm kind of realizing after P2 exits. We called him P3 because we called him Petty Patrick Peterson on the podcast. He couldn't keep the Cardinals off his lips all off season long. He's like, oh, I'm going to go secure the bag, but I'm going to talk about my former team like I'm still, it's just. So it's nice to see some guys get out there, be aggressive. And I think that front 7, especially those guys like Chandler, JJ, and Marcus Golden, that they're creating opportunities, even though it's not showing up as a sack in the box score.
Yeah, who are the other guys outside of those 3? Because I know them dudes, and I like Marcus Golden. Marcus Golden he's slept on as a linebacker, man. The league better stop sleeping on that young kid, because he gonna be in your backfield having dinner with your quarterback. And he gonna know everything about him by the time you wake up and realize Golden is Golden. Yeah. So, who else outside of those guys, are the playmakers? Because I know Isaiah Simmons is leading you guys in tackles.
Yeah. Isaiah Simmons was the guy I was going to mention. Number 9. He was a hybrid player coming out of college. He was the 8th overall pick in 2020. He played safety. He played inside linebacker. He played outside linebacker. He was run off the edge. This is a kid that had to drink from a fire hose in his first season, like trying to learn all these positions, 6 different positions his rookie season. That's a lot, especially during the COVID season. So, it's tough. It was tough for him, and he's finally finding his legs at the NFL level. As he said, leading the team in tackles. He's a Swiss Army knife. He can play in coverage. Now, Niners fans will remember, you might not, but Raheem Mostert gave Isaiah Simmons a very humbling welcome to the NFL moment week 1 last year, where poor Isaiah Simmons looked one way and zoom, Mostert was gone 71 yards to the house. And that pretty much ended a lot of playing time for him the rest of the season until he made a big play against the Seahawks later on. But he's starting to play. He's the starting inside linebacker, and he's been balling out. He's a guy that you'll see him match up with George Kittle. You'll even see him match up against the wide receiver every once in a while. You'll see him rush the passer, but he's just a force. He's just a playmaker. And he had the first pick of the season for the Arizona Cardinals. He almost had another one. He's just going to be everywhere. He's playing that hybrid role that he played at Clemson, and man, he's really kind of figuring it out at that level. Zaven Collins, first-round pick. We're not going to see much of him yet. Jordan Hicks has kind of kept him at bay. Jordan Hicks, the veteran linebacker, he's still kind of playing in there. Zaven Collins, first-round pick. It's kind of been, a 4-0 start. It's been kind of disappointing not to see your first-round pick get out there and perform, but he hasn't earned it yet. So don't expect that to happen necessarily on Sunday, unless he's out there to maybe spy a guy like Trey Lance. If it is Lance, maybe he might go out there and play and kind of spy a little bit if they want to get that quarterback run game going. But yeah, I mean, other than that, everybody else kind of quiet. They play their roles. Robert Alford, the other cornerback opposite Byron Murphy, has been playing well after missing 2 seasons. Marco Wilson is a fourth round pick for the Arizona Cardinals. Cornerback. This kid had a 43.5-inch vert. He out jumped the equipment that that measures it. He sub 440, 440, and then but they were questioning what he has between the ears because in a big game against LSU at Florida, he threw a shoe. He literally threw an opponent's shoe, got flagged up, and it was a big play. And people were concerned that between the ears, he was an issue. But man, he's been playing really well out of the gates for the Arizona Cardinals, a 4th-round pick, which usually, it's hit and miss. I know that the Niners had a former 5th-round pick from the Seahawks that played a lot of big downs for them in Richard Sherman. But, 4th-round picks, it's so rare that they hit, and it's been nice for them. But, man, yeah, Isaiah Simmons is the guy, no doubt about it, to look out for. And then, J.J. Watt. J.J. Watt, he's still looking to record that first sack. We'll see if that happens for old Justin James, number 99. Another guy, he's impacting the game, making quarterbacks feel uneasy, but he's not getting those sacks yet.
Gotcha. So I'm going to stop real quick, man. Say what's up to some of these people in the chat. Thank y'all for stopping in. Hello to 49ers Chanel. My boy Matt's in the building. Tanya Sayal, how you doing? My boy John V is in here. My mom is actually in here. Yeah, Denise G, what's going on? And shout out to my dog, Trey in the Bay. Jay in the Bay, my bad. What's good? That's my dog, man. He has his own channel, and Jay in the Bay, that's the homie, man. He's super cool. He had me on his podcast. I got to get him on here eventually. But, yeah, man, when you talk about our defense, we are formidable. We have Nick Bosa. We have D Ford. We have Fred Warner. Azeez Al-Shaair has been just a wake-up call in the midst of missing, Drake Greenlaw right now. The safeties are playing well. Tartan Ward. Right now we are a little shaky at DB, but, we have hopes that Josh Norman will be back to start this game. And if he is able to come back, it'll be Norman and Eman Mosley. If not, you'll probably see Norman and Drake Kirkpatrick. We had Dante Johnson starting the slot, which I don't like because I don't like Dante Johnson for any reason. I just feel like he knows where all the bones are buried, and that's why he keeps getting back on this damn team. But as far as our front seven is concerned, that's where we usually have all the power from. So, usually D Ford, you don't see him until third down because we use him as a third down specialist because, God forbid, he played more than 40 snaps a game. And next thing you know, he's going to be my neck, my back, my neck, and my back like Ezell from Friday in the liquor store. But that's just how he moves. So I would say that, on defense, we got our work cut out for us, man. AJ Green ain't no joke. And you definitely, for damn sure, never in your life should you sleep on D-Hop. The one position that I don't see from you guys is tight end. I literally don't even know who your tight end is. I feel like that's almost a lost person in your offense because everything comes from your running backs and from your receivers. So who the heck is your tight end? Because I'm a little confused.
It's Max Williams. It was Max with 2 X's. All right, and he's more known for his blocking prowess. But the last couple games, he's shown up. He had a touchdown against the Rams last week. That ties his career best, and he's actually been pretty well. He's been doing pretty well. He's got 179 yards receiving, which is, I think he's maxed out in his career just over 200 before. So he's approaching career numbers already. It was a position where the Arizona Cardinals didn't invest in it this offseason, and it was kind of making the fan base a little frustrated. But when you have all those players, it's like he gets lost, and the guy just has open field to deal with. He takes the shortest strides ever. I mean, this is a guy that just rumbles on the field when he's got the ball in his hand. He's just a big old dude, but he's been making some plays for this Arizona Cardinals offense. It's just in that too, like him setting up and being able to set the edge, or as far as blocking and just being a great tight end as far as that's concerned, and then couple him with this offensive line and the way it's been playing. This offensive line, Dion, has only given up 9 hits on Kyler Murray all season. 9 times. That's all he's been touched all season long. So this offensive line is playing really well. And Max Williams, the tight end, he helps, block a little bit, set up the run game for Edmonds and Connor, but he's also the beneficiary from having all those weapons and not being accounted for by opposing defenses. So touchdown last week. So Kyler Murray still looks for him, finds him. And that's also one thing that Kyler Murray's just spreading the wealth. I mean, this is a guy that's he's completing 76% of his passes this season, and it's because he's just getting to whoever's open. If it's Max Williams, good. If it's Rondell Moore, even better. If it's DeAndre Hopkins, well, you know what you're going to get from Nook. So it's going to be tough, especially when you talk about guys like Drake Kirkpatrick, who's on this team last year. I know he's not a shutdown guy, and same thing with Josh Norman. It's not turn back the clock, and he's playing in his Carolina days. So it's going to be a tough assignment for all those guys.
Yeah, I definitely understand that. Now the offensive line has been playing well. Kyler Murray has taken 8 sacks though from the stats. He's taken 8 sacks and he's thrown 4 picks. So we need to start getting turnovers. So this could be a game if we can get the right pressure on him. Then we should be fine. The cool thing is we had a better game against Russell Wilson as far as containing him and not letting him run all over the damn place. Although you can argue that Kyler is young Russ, with way more speed, because Russell was a running quarterback early in his career, but he ain't never had the speed of Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray is just a lightning quick quarterback, and I'll tell you, I've even playing you guys in Madden, he pisses me off because once he gets out and runs, it's like you cannot catch him. And I remember DeForest Buckner affectionately nicknamed him the Squirrel when he was here, because he's like a little squirrel back there. He's just running around, and it's just hard to catch him. Well, yeah, it's hard to catch somebody. What is Kyler, 5'9"?
I would say 5'9". Yeah, I mean, he's listed at 5'10", but that's probably about right.
Yeah, about 5'9", 5'10", and DeForest Buckner 6'7". Of course, you're gonna have a hell of a hard time tackling. You almost got a foot on the kid. Right. What are you gonna do? Grasp for air? Like that's a hard sell, when you're 6'7" trying to tackle somebody that's small. But
he's had some success too. Last year, I think I saw he rushed for like 75 yards, 90 yards against the Niners in both those games.
Yeah, no, he'll carve us up if we allow him to. We just have to, draw up a system to be able to properly maintain him and get him in the pocket, because you don't want him getting outside the pocket and having too much green grass, because he'll make you pay. Kyler is really smart when he runs. That's one thing I will give him credit for. He's not one of those guys that's looking to take a hit and or give a hit. If he can get to the sideline before you touch him, believe me, he's doing it. And if he's got to slide, he'll lay on his back to make sure he don't take them kind of hits. Give me your X factor. Who makes this game for the 49ers a nightmare?
Yeah, I've mentioned him a little bit 4, but I think Rondell Moore is a guy that is going to get a lot of looks. He's a second-round pick out of Purdue. He had a big game the last time they played at State Farm Stadium, went over 100 yards, had a big 77-yard touchdown catch and run. He's almost like Kyler Murray, but in wide receiver form. Small, shifty, like a squirrel out there. He's making plays for this offense. And when you got DeAndre Hopkins and you got AJ Green and Christian Kirk, it's like, how can you account for all of those guys? Rondell Moore can get lost in the shuffle. He's also a guy that's in the kick return game. So I just think that he's an X factor each and every week for this Arizona Cardinals team. It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. There's so much speed on this offense now. It's just tough to keep up with everybody. Chase Edmonds, the running back, he's kind of dealing with a little bit of an injury. Hasn't practiced last couple of days. So, I think he's always a nice little safety valve for Kyler Murray, especially in the pass game, coming out of the backfield. But I think this week with Chase banged up, it's Rondell Moore time.
All right. So my X factor for this game, my QB, Trey Lance. That kid, I'm telling you, man, you ever get a player, you just feel it in your bones. You know this person is going to be special. Like you get the dude and you're like, yeah, we got one. we got one. That's how I feel about Trey Lance, man. I feel like though he's going to go through his growing pains and I anticipate it, I'm ready for it and I expect it. It's just going to be a situation where that run game is going to be nastier than anyone ever anticipated. It's going to just make you need it to be. It's making your defensive coordinator is going to lose sleep at night trying to figure out how to stop that run game. And I know that the one thing that I can say about the Cardinals, respectfully, y'all don't ever give us an easy game. We can't just go in there and whoop your ass. We can't just blow you out. Y'all keep fighting tooth and nail. You guys are like the coach for the Lions, Ragnar. You biting kneecaps and ankles and all that. You don't go away. The Cardinals give us a serious fight every time, but I love it because it makes for a good football game. And I love football in general, so I'm always game for that. But Trey Lance is my X factor when it comes to the offensive side of the ball. Who's that X factor on defense?
Yeah, it's going to come down to, in this game, especially with a big old boy like Trey Lance back there, it's going to be containing him and keeping him, behind that line of scrimmage, forcing him to throw the football where he's shown he's been kind of inaccurate at this stage in his career coming out of North Dakota State. Mm-hmm. So it's going to be big. Isaiah Simmons is there. Jordan Hicks is there, linebackers. But, I think that you probably just go with Isaiah Simmons as far as who's going to be the most important player to their success. And that's going to be Simmons because he's 6'4". He ran a 4.39 40. He's about 240 pounds. They're about the same guy, aren't they? So who's going to be able to slow down and catch up with Trey Lance? Pretty much it's like the Spider-Man and Spider-Man meme where they're just pointing at each other. That's Trey Lance and that's Isaiah Simmons. So I think that's probably the guy that he's not going to be able to turn the corner on him. So we'll see. I think that that's probably who your guy is on defense that's going to have a big game and slowing down the rookie quarterback.
Okay. Now my X factor, you know his name, Nick Bosa. He's coming for you.
Right? The guy Cardinals passed on, took Kyler Murray, and that was the right move.
And I'll tell you this, it was the right move because Bosa would have been a stand-up outside linebacker for you guys, and that wasn't going to work. I don't think he's one of those dudes, even though he looks like he's in the damn track stance every time he puts his hand in the dirt because he's got his arm up like he's about to run a fucking 40. He's just doing that, trying to get around that edge. But Nick Bosa, I believe, will be a terrorizing, polarizing figure off that edge, and it's going to be a fun thing. That
has he gotten Kyler yet? I don't think he's gotten Kyler yet.
As a sack, I don't believe so. No,
I don't think so either.
I don't think he's gotten to him yet, but he will. My boy John V, man, he says just got laughed out of the Dunkin' Donuts drive-through. Screaming Lance when the dude asked me if I was a Niner fan and if he believes, if I believe he's the future the future for the Niners. He said, "No, man, I'm a Jags fan. We'll spell it 49ERS." That's my dog, man. That's funny. You go to a drive-through. Like the crazy thing is since living in Arizona, I found so many Niner fans. Like we are every damn where.
Mm-hmm.
Like Varsity Tavern on Mill. Don't go there on Sunday. We take over that joint. You know what I'm saying? McFadden's, take over that joint. There's so many places that we just go in and, you know, we have our chapters here and there. And I love it, man. I found, you know, the guys, the AZ Niner Empire, shout out to them. Found them through Facebook and hang out with them on Sundays where the game isn't on regular television. You know, and because 9 times out of 10, you know, if the Cardinals are playing same time the Niners are playing, you get the local game. It's obvious. It just works like that. But for me, man, I'm going to go ahead and say we pull off the W 34-27. That's my score prediction. And the reason that I state that is because we're not going to stop your offense, but I think our offense is going to be too potent for you guys to actually stop. What would be your score prediction and what you feel?
I respectfully disagree. I just don't think that the Trey Lance, this offense is going to be up to speed just yet. I think the Arizona Cardinals win this one 31-17. That offense is looking good. I was surprised to see the Niners have given up the most points in the division. I thought that their defense, it's Robert Saleh's not walking through that door. You know, the defensive coordinator. We'll see what D'Amico Ryans if he's going to get these guys playing his defense just yet. But I think he's still finding his way. And the Arizona Cardinals are not a team that you want to try to adjust on the fly on right now. And maybe down when they play each other again in the next couple of weeks, it might be their day. But at home, you know, look, any given Sunday, sure, especially with an X factor like Trey Lance. But I think if you're asking me right now, I think the Arizona Cardinals, they win this game and they win it pretty easily. Just because of how this, unless it becomes a slugfest, I don't think it's going to be a high-scoring game, and the Niners are going to win. If the Niners are going to win, it's going to be like 20-17. It's going to be like Week 16 was last year, where they just slowed the pace down. They're going to ground and pound and kind of
defensive game, kind of grind it out.
Yeah, and really get Kyler Murray out of it and get this offense off their rhythm. So that's how I envision it. But we'll see. You know. We'll see how. That's why they play the game, man.
That is definitely true, man. And to be honest with you, the score prediction that you currently have, the 31-17, that happens if Jimmy Garoppolo gets his ass on the field, because we all know that's gonna happen. You know him, Mr. Slow Starter himself. And like I said, I hold everybody accountable. You know, the crazy thing is, I remember when y'all drafted college, Cliff Kingsbury came out and said, if I ever become a head coach in the NFL, I would draft Kyler Murray with the first pick if I had it. And what happened? Here comes the first pick. And poor Josh Rosen, man. The guy just got shafted. He had no hope. He didn't have a great team. The one thing you can say about Josh Rosen is he kicked our ass twice that year. He beat us both times, man. And I looked and I was like, oh, gee. And that's a hard sell for me because I'm a UCLA guy.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? That's my college team. I love UCLA. My uncle was the one who got me into him. So it was kind of like, in the back of my mind, I'm like, yeah, man, I want to see you win. But then, in person, I'm like, hell no, I don't need you beat my Niners. You can beat everybody else. Just don't beat them, But that's going to be a fun game to watch no matter what. I feel like it's going to be a very entertaining game. I don't see either team just dominating outright as far as from either defensive or offensive standpoint, just because, both defenses have serious firepower. I have to give props to AJ Green. I'm very happy that the young man found himself.
Yeah.
And did Fitz officially retire?
No, he just said he doesn't have the urge to play right now, kind of leaving the door open a little bit. I think he's covering the team a couple of years ago. Fitz was just like, look, when I retire, there's not going to be any tears. There's not going to be any podium. I'm just going to quietly walk away. So this could just be him
quietly walking away.
Yeah, he's doing a radio show on Monday with Jim Gray and Tom Brady. But other than that, I think he's just playing golf and counting his money. I mean, he's the highest paid non-quarterback in NFL history. The guy knows he's an absolute just force businessman. He owns a little bit of the Suns too. Just he might just be ready for life after football. If AJ Green goes down or another wide receiver goes down and the Arizona Cardinals are willing to pay him $8 million to finish the season, he might come back, but I think it's probably done. And what a career.
Okay. Yeah, I know. I respect Fitz, man, for what he's done on the field. That guy is probably one of the most consistent receivers out there. I look at Fitz and he reminds me of Chris Carter. Just sure hands. Never saw Chris Carter drop a damn thing. I remember oddly enough, I remember saying that watching Good Morning Football, and somebody threw a football at him unannounced, and he caught it. And I was like, he still got it, bro. It's ridiculous.
One of the craziest stats about Larry Fitzgerald, wide receiver, played 17 seasons. He had more tackles than drops. More tackles.
Hey, that's amazing.
Offensive side of the football.
That's awesome, man. When you
130 targets a game. I mean, a year. I'm sorry, 130
year.
Targets. Yeah. He's got more tackles than drops. It's insane.
That's awesome, man. I tell you, the hardest hitting wide receiver I ever saw in my life was Hines Ward out of Pittsburgh. Yeah, I felt bad if you picked the ball off, because my thing is get away from him. I feel like he was like maybe in Pop Warner or he might have been a linebacker in the previous life, because he used to rock. I used to see him.
That's crazy. He was a quarterback. He was a quarterback in college at Georgia. Hines Ward.
Was he?
Yeah, before he.
Okay, so the Steelers did this continuously because they did it with Antoine Randall. Even Cordell Stewart played a little wide out for him, and he was a quarterback.
Yep.
Okay.
They were ahead of their time. Yep.
Yeah, they were, man. Those are the guys. Well, hey, man, I appreciate having you on, brother.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining me. Glad we're in the same time zone so we can do that. Enjoy the game on Sunday. I'll definitely enjoy it. Definitely enjoy it myself. And we can definitely do this again anytime. Like I said, I'm always open to having opposing fans on to the stream to be able to help me understand a little bit more, because sometimes I get a little lost in the sauce on who does what. I know my division opponents very well, but sometimes, everybody offers a different perspective. I'm looking forward to seeing what Isaiah Simmons can do. He is a Swiss Army knife. One name for the future for you to look out for: Talanoa Hufanga. Very eerily similar to Isaiah Simmons as in being a Swiss Army knife. He doesn't have the speed, but he's got the talent. That guy's going to be probably a hybrid safety / linebacker, and I see big things coming from him, man. And he's hanging out with Troy Polamalu. Polamalu was training him in the offseason, so he's definitely got number 29, I believe.
Okay, I'll check
29. So if you see him, he's on special teams right now, not doing a ton. You know what I'm saying? But if we ever had a safety go down, he would definitely be the dude, man, because he is for the future, he's going to be a definite huge talent for us, because we have damn near all of our secondary gone next year. Like, everybody's on 1-year deals, so we're going to be looking around for everything. It's going to be crazy. But once again, man, appreciate you coming on the show. Thank you for, speaking for the Cardinal fans out there. And I am in Cardinal country, so I know I'll see all of y'all all over the place. And, the game going to be fun, man. I just like – and the crazy thing is, my first ever NFL game I went to was a 49er Cardinal game. And it was back in 2009.
Was it here?
Yeah, it was here. It was here. The first game I ever went to, man, and I had great seats. And literally, it was so awesome. I literally was so close. I was yelling at the 49er sideline, like screaming at him. Like
Warner, right? That was his last year?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
We wound up getting that W, man. And it was just crazy to see everybody, man. I think Vernon Davis was still around. We had Alex Smith, and that's when we had IU Potty and Anthony Davis, and we were just starting to come into the Harbaugh era and all that good stuff. It was fantastic, man. It was a fun time, and I loved it. But it's crazy to know that. And then this year I went to Levi Stadium for the first preseason game. So
Nice.
I was like, I never got a chance to go to Candlestick. I'm going to Levi's, damn it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go and I'm gonna see it. I'm gonna enjoy and everything. And that was a fun time. And then going back to State Farm Stadium, that's gonna be a beautiful thing too, man. But once again, sir, thank you so much for joining me. You have yourself a wonderful evening. To everybody that was in the chat that joined us for the show, thank you so much. I'm going to shout out mybookie.ag really quick. They are the place to go if you're looking for a bet. Remember, we got a big fight this weekend. Deontay Wilder versus Tyson Fury. You looking to bet, go to mybookie.ag. You put in $1, they give you $1. You put in 100, they give you 100. You put in 1,000, they give you 1,000. 1,000 is the max that they will go ahead and match for you. But you can bet on football, baseball, basketball, any and everything. If you're looking at basketball, the preseason is upon us, so everything will be starting for them. When you're looking at football, any of the games that you have will definitely be available for you to bet on. We got the Bills and the Chiefs for Sunday Night Football. You definitely want to go in there and get a couple of bets in on that because that's going to be a spectacular game. Josh Allen versus Patrick Mahomes. That's going to be a battle of wills because the Bills defense is humming while the Chiefs defense is tad bit suspect. But go to mybookie.ag for all of your gambling needs, and they will help you out with placing those bets. That's probably the last question I got for you, bro. Who do you have in that fight if you are a boxing fan? You taking Wilder, you taking Fury?
I'd love to see Wilder get one in this matchup because Fury got the last one, didn't he? So I just
did.
I want another matchup after this. So let's have Wilder win this one, and we'll get another fight.
Okay, I like it. I'm taking the Bronze Bomber because I'm Bomb Squad to this day, all day. Win or lose, I ride with Deontay, and I feel like Deontay is going to have a game plan for Mr. Fury that's going to put Fury on his backside, man. I think Fury's coming in.
Fall to the canvas this time. Like, if don't hold him up like he did last time.
Yeah, I think the thing is Fury's coming in with a head full of steam. Like, I'm ready. I'm coming in. I'm going to knock you out. There's going to be nothing. You need to be real careful because Deontay has that cannon of a right arm, and all he's got to do is connect and hit you square. And once Deontay's one of those dudes, when he's like a shark in the water. When he smells blood, he just starts swinging. And he doesn't stop. Adrenaline takes over, and I feel that Bronze Bomber jumps out of him, and he goes insane. Then at the same time, I just don't like Tyson Fury. I don't like him. I don't like his shit talking. I get it. I know it's great for the sport, but man, you are boastful and braggadocious like you are the sexiest man alive. He comes out in a blazer every time, and he fat as all get out. Come on, brother. Deontay Wilder can pull that off because he's chiseled like an Adonis. But when it comes to anything else, that's not the case. Oh, you found it. Yeah, but thank you so much for coming on, brother. Right. Sorry about that, man. My wife showed me something off to the side of there. You're like, what's going on? But once again, thank you so much. Everybody in the chat, thank you for joining us. Everybody stay blessed, stay faithful. At the end of the day, go Niners. We got to go out of here and get this W, man. We got to knock the Cardinals off their high horse. Can't get them to 5-0, baby, because at that point, you ain't never going to be able to tell a Cardinal fan nothing in Arizona. Y'all have yourselves a wonderful evening, and we are out.